Where am I? How long has it been? What is this? Is this eternal damnation? No, I know what this is. I remember you. Hey guys, Pie Guy Rules here, and welcome to the bottom of the bottom of the bottom of the bakery. It's been a long time, but apparently I have grown hands, so let's try to take this stupid thing down in the only way I know possible at this point. Man. Oh. Welcome to the review of I Can't Take It, the third part of this awful, awful Seddie arc. So, on a more serious note, before we actually begin here, I do need to offer the disclaimer that this video is going to discuss abusive relationships. And you might be thinking, Pie Guy Rules, what are you talking about? This is a Nickelodeon show, could it really be that bad? And I have to be honest, this video is going to discuss some serious stuff, so if that is something that you are sensitive to, I might suggest maybe coming back to this video at a later time. So, let's recap real quick. First, we had I Start a Fan War, which was an episode where the characters from iCarly went to a fan convention, and the fans were warring over whether Freddie should date Carly or Sam, and the iCarly crew, the characters in the show, say, point blank, this show is not about shipping. And this is a representation for how the people behind the actual TV show iCarly felt. And they basically said to the fans, hey, don't get your hopes up. There's probably not going to be some sort of relationship arc on the show. Then, not too long after, we get IOMG, which ends with Sam kissing Freddie. Then, we get I Lost My Mind, which is where Sam checks herself into a mental hospital because she thinks she's insane for liking Freddie. Then, we get I Date Sam and Freddie, in which Sam and Freddie put Carly in the middle of their argument all the time, because all they do in their relationship is argue, and Carly eventually gets sick of mediating, and that episode ends with her getting fed up, telling them all that she's done, and that she doesn't like their relationship, and all this stuff. It ends with a big explosive thing. It's really sudden, and it's a cliffhanger. So how does this episode, how does I Can't Take It follow up on that cliffhanger? Well, I can answer that by telling you the first 2 lines of dialogue in the episode. Carly says, so, things are going good with you and Freddie? And Sam says, yeah, way better. Only 3 fights this week. And that's it. That is the resolution to Carly being put in the middle of their conflict all the time. Carly was fed up with them and didn't want to be around them anymore. In this episode, she's just casually hanging out with Sam, and all of her complaints apparently are just resolved by Sam being like, yeah, we don't fight as much. That's it. That's the resolution. What was the point of that entire last episode then? Why did their problems get resolved off camera like that? So, moving along past that, the next lines of dialogue are Carly saying, and you haven't hit him? And Sam says, not in the face. Then Carly says, aw, that's sweet, and the laugh track plays. Because apparently, even though they're in a relationship, Sam is still regularly physically harming Freddie, but she's not doing it in the face. Don't worry, she's not doing it in a place where people can notice. She's doing it in a place on his body where he can cover it up and hide. Where he can hide the fact that he's in a relationship where his partner regularly beats him up. And this whole thing is played as a joke? I don't care if it's trying to be slapstick or silly or whatever. You shouldn't joke about beating up your partner, especially when we've seen Sam regularly beat up Freddie before they were in a relationship. It wasn't okay then, and it's especially not okay now. So we're only 5 lines in at this point. Let's move it forward a little bit. Freddie walks in the room where Sam and Carly are and reveals that he's edited the new iCarly sketch. And as it turns out, he has cropped Carly out of the entire dang thing. All you see is like half her body and her arm. Because apparently his relationship with Sam has also ruined his ability to produce this web show. Gibby enters, and he has a big bag of gas station sandwiches for some reason, which Sam proceeds to take from him and whack him over the head with, enough so that he falls down. Everyone's like, hey, why did you just beat up Gibby apropos of absolutely nothing? And Sam has no idea. She's not really sure why she just randomly mauled her friend. As it turns out, she has to be mean to someone. That's the explanation. She is a bully and a horrible person at heart, so she has to be mean to someone. And since she can't be as mean to Freddy anymore, even though she is still regularly beating him, she has to be mean to Gibby, even though Gibby has done absolutely nothing. It's a little scary to think that these people are all friends with this girl who has so little understanding about why she's so angry and violent that she doesn't even know why she's hurting people. Like, that's disturbing. Can we get her back to the psych ward, because that really is a place that could probably do her some good. So, Gibby meets with Freddy's mom in an elevator because he wants to break the two of them up, and Freddy's mom does not know that Sam and Freddy are dating. Freddy's mom, of course, has a big, over-the-top, crazy reaction because she's a crazy person who overreacts to everything, except in this instance, finding out that her son is dating someone who has actively, physically, and emotionally hurt him over the years is probably cause to actually be very upset and want the two of them to break up. The show presents it as an unreasonable thing, but in my opinion, Freddy's mom is one of the more sensible people in this entire mess of a storyline. Oh. So, basically, Freddy's mom confronts Freddy and tells him to stop dating Sam. Freddy is upset at this and tells her that no, he's not going to do that. Because love. Sam and Freddy confront Carly because they think that Carly was the one that told Freddy's mom that the two of them were dating. Which is a big plot hole, because why did they assume that someone told Freddy's mom? Like, they literally hang out in an apartment that's right across from where Freddy's mom lives. They constantly enter and exit that way. Why would they not have assumed that she would have seen the two of them walking out of the building, or maybe heard something through the door or whatever? Basically, they accuse Carly of being jealous of their relationship. So, Carly blurts out that it wasn't her that told Freddy's mom, but instead it was Gibby. This causes Sam to attack Gibby, throw him to the ground, and smash his face into the ground over and over again, to the point where Freddy, Carly, and Spencer cannot get her off of him. And she hurts Spencer in the process. Probably also hurts her boyfriend, but again, she routinely beats him, so whatever. Of course, this is supposed to be seen as a big funny comedy moment, but it's actually horrific to see Sam go all gorilla on this poor innocent kid who just wants to stop being bullied, right? He has a legitimate reason to want Sam and Freddy to break up. It's not like he's just doing it out of jealousy or pettiness. He wants to stop being bullied by Sam. Anyway, he comes back from the emergency room with bandages and crutches, saying that he broke his breastbone. If this was supposed to be slapstick, Gibby should not be coming back from the hospital. Slapstick generally doesn't have consequences. You do a wacky slap at someone and they go, woo! And then that's it. That's slapstick. Slapstick is not beating up someone so hard that they have to go to the hospital. But would you believe that this isn't even the worst part of the episode? So, Freddy's mom meets with Carly and Gibby and Spencer, and she basically says, hey, their relationship has actively made everyone's life worse. And honestly, yes, it has. If you go down the list, they made Carly miserable by putting her in the middle of everything. They made Gibby miserable by beating him up all the time. They made Freddy's mom miserable because she has to now deal with the fact that her son is dating his abuser. And they've made iCarly worse, because Freddy apparently can't concentrate anymore. Objectively, in story, Seddie is an awful, awful relationship that just ruins everything. And here's the thing. Here's the thing about this whole dang arc, is that if even the show acknowledges that the couple is a bad couple that ruins everything, what was the point of doing this? How is this storyline satisfying for anyone? If you're someone who shipped Sam and Freddy, wouldn't you have wanted to see these two I don't know, acting cute instead of arguing all the time. Instead of the characters in the show saying that they're just an objectively bad couple, wouldn't you have wanted an actual romance? And if you're not a Seddie shipper, if you're someone like me who thinks that this whole thing is a big mistake, I'm not enjoying this. It's not good storytelling. If I just wanted to see iCarly get back to wacky iCarly shenanigans, I don't want to see this. It seems like this arc is designed to satisfy absolutely no one, the shippers and the non-shippers. So anyway, Carly doesn't want to break the couple up because she doesn't want to be a bad friend. However, she reveals the fact that Sam, months ago, forged answers on Freddie's application to some sort of computer science camp. This camp would have allowed Freddie to potentially get into a lot of great colleges and help his future immensely. Sam decided to steal it, forge all the answers, and submit it. And Freddie has no idea of this, right? Even though, yes, Sam did this before they were dating, it's still an awful thing to do to someone, and she still didn't tell him, even though they were dating. Gibby meets with Freddie to tell him about this. Carly watches from downstairs. She's all so conflicted because she doesn't want to be a bad friend by breaking them up. Even though a good friend wouldn't let Freddie have his life ruined by the person that he is currently dating. I think a good friend would want their friend, Freddie, to understand and know that Sam, his partner, has done awful, awful things to him and still lied about it even when they're in a relationship. So Freddie confronts Sam over why she would do this to him, and she says that she forged his answers because he did not know what time it was when she asked him. Honestly, I don't even think this thing can hurt me anymore. Compared to the episode, this is nothing. Yeah, legitimately, that's the reasoning she gives. That's it. That's the whole thing. Freddie did nothing to her, and she acted maliciously and horribly to him. Carly runs back upstairs and tells the two of them that they have to stay together.
Look, having Sam in your life is like owning a wild chimp. Sure, she is unpredictable, she can go berserk and chew your foot off, but if you keep her clean and well fed, she's adorable, and cool and tons of fun. Then Freddie says, I know, but... And Carly interrupts him by saying, she said she was sorry, and she really meant it. Sam loves you. And Sam says, it's kinda true.
That's it. That's the reasoning. Stay with your abusive partner, Freddie. Do it. Do it. And then Carly creepily pushes their heads together so they can kiss. Gibby, meanwhile, decides to change his mind about everything, and he suddenly loves Seddie as a couple, because he believes in love. Even though the episode never resolves the fact that Sam is still going to beat him up. Sam doesn't promise that she won't. Nothing has changed about that. Nothing at all has changed. Gibby, you are still going to be harmed by this girl, but you believe in love. You believe that Freddie should have his future ruined. You believe that Freddie should be continuously beaten. You believe that you should be continuously beaten. Because love. That's it, guys. That's it. That's this whole thing. This whole thing is glorifying an abusive relationship to a young audience. And it's disgusting. It's disturbing. I'm not trying to exaggerate here, but genuinely, this is messed up. This episode is very messed up in that it implies that if you love someone, you should put up with literally any awful thing that they do to you or your friends. Basically, 2 lines sum up this whole stupid ordeal of this stupid episode and this stupid arc. Freddie says, she ruined my chant, and then Carly cuts him off and says, oh, who cares? Because no one cares about Freddie in this whole storyline.
Oh, but if you want to know what Freddie Benson thinks about all of this, don't worry because he made a blog post about it on iCarly.com, which reads, not sure if you've heard, but me and Sam got into a huge fight because she ruined my chance to go to new electronic research and development camp. She changed all my answers on the camp's application form to make me look completely deranged. We've since made up, and I even think it's kind of funny now. I decided to put the whole thing online so you can see what she changed on the application. You have to admit, I have a pretty funny girlfriend. Here you go. Somehow I really doubt that Freddie Benson wrote this. Kinda sounds like something Sam would write.
I gotta be real for a second here, because there is a reason why this video took so long to come out, and It's because I was in an abusive relationship. It made me unable to work on this video because of the subject matter and just because it happened at such a dark point in my life when I started working on this. She didn't physically hurt me, but she manipulated me, lied to me, and basically just ruined my life. And it took a very long time to accept that this was still an abusive relationship. I think I'm okay now, but it took me a long time to get to this place. This episode here, I Can't Take It, is the absolute worst of the worst. It is the worst of the Seddie arc, and probably the worst of anything that the Dan Schneider's company, Schneider's Bakery, has ever done, to be completely honest. I think this episode just utterly glorifies abusive relationships to a young audience, and I think that's disgusting and disturbing. It's also not fun to watch if you like to ship Sam and Freddie, because it features the characters openly admitting that they're a bad couple that don't make any sense. This is the last bit of that stupid cake, and let's just do it.
Well, it appears I'm finally out of the oven and back into the bakery. Something seems a little different though. Under new management, well, maybe this new team can do better. And look, they still make iCarly and Henry Danger. Danger Force. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Before we take a look at anything new, there is still one more part of the Seddie arc that we have to tackle. Will this next episode have me saying, I love you? Find out next time. Pie Guy Rules, out. Oh wait, I almost forgot. There's a Spencer subplot in this episode. After being forced to lie to Freddie's mom, he decides to become a baker. Unsurprisingly, when he tries to bake some bread, it burns in the oven, which I can definitely relate to. As usual, it's a pretty simple setup, but the acting of Jerry Trainor really carries it. It's fun, but not enough to distract you from how horrible this episode is.